guys, this is Chuck Carson from the Animated Pencil, and today we'll be sketching Archie Andrews from Riverdale. Remember him? So what we're going to do, I use Procreate to do my illustrations digitally, but you can follow along if you want to with regular pencil and paper. What I have here is I'm sketching out the head. When I start with a circle, it kind of gives me a feel for the size of the head I want to use. Then I draw the lower lines, which would be the chin, connecting with a couple lines just for the neck. Then I cut the face in half with a straight line. On this one, since it's a 3/4 view, it's not exactly in the middle. It's over to the left a little bit, but it's still the center of the face where you want to put your nose and eyes and things of that nature. So we're going to squeeze in here a little bit. Here's what I'm doing here. I'm tightening up the chin. What I do is I do a really rough pencil sketch just to get the basic shapes in. Then I go back in and do a little bit more details, adding the hair, the headline, and shaping out the face and the ears. And here I'm putting the hair in because he has those part in his hair in the middle. And here I'm putting the nose. The nose is basically like a C, curvature C with a little shadow, a little dot you can put there. Then sketching the mouth, it's like a straight line, and then you have a straight curvature for the chin, where the chin and the mouth meet. And a little oval circle underneath there. Now for the eyes, what I do is I do a full circle, but then I ink it with just the top half, like let's say a horseshoe kind of shape. Put the pupils in. He has really thick eyebrows, so those are just kind of like big blobs. Then I'll do the, kind of putting the ears together, adding little details here and there. And I draw it 3 times, I think, on this one. It's different each time as I draw them, because I sketch them out on layer. I do this in layers in Procreate. So I'll do a sketch, and then I'll turn the opacity down and make a new layer, and then add more details. And then, kind of, hey, where do I want to put the freckles? Where do I want to put the mouth and nose and the eyes? And once I'm happy with it, I will stop doing that and make a new layer. See here, I'm putting down the opacity. I'm going to change the color. So I draw on top of it with a different color. So it kind of helps me as I'm sketching along to see where I was and where I am. So here I kind of go real. I'm still using the pencil. I kind of do the ear, kind of just really slow, taking my time, making a little bit more cleaner lines. Here's the nose, go over the nose a little bit, add a little shadow. I rotate it so I can look at the, it's easier for me to rotate. As you do your paper, you kind of rotate it with your easy to do strokes. So then I go over it several times until I get it the way I want it. His teeth, they're just lines. You just do a half circle, and then the tongue is the same thing, a couple little bumps. Then you go real slow around the eyes or the pupil. And let's see what we got here. Well, that looks pretty good. So let's add some details around the eyebrows. Kind of shape those out a little bit better. And do the other one. There we go. Let's see. And just like I said, just draw. This is real time. I'm drawing real slow. Taking my time so I can get it properly the way I want to do it. Here's the hair parts. A couple stray hairs, then the oval. On the left, you can kind of tell that it's angled because you can't see as much, but you do see a little bit. So I would have just a little small bump to indicate there's hair on that side in his ear. He has those freckles, so let's put those in. He only has a few just to indicate, hey, I got freckles. So I usually put 3 on each side and 1 on his nose, and then straight lines for his hair instead of a straight line down. Then we do the bow tie. He doesn't always wear a bow tie, but sometimes I draw him with one because that's kind of the old school, the comics that I draw from and read from. Let's see, I don't want to do a full chest. We're just going to do a little circle here just to indicate. I want it to feel finished, but, kind of filled in. So there we go. Look at that. And we're kind of happy with it, but I think his neck's too long. What do you think? So I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer, turn this one down, and draw it again. There we go. Now I'm going to go over it with black this time with ink. Let me see. I'm gonna zoom in here, and once you're done with this, you can just kind of jump around and just ink where you want to. So I got to set the size. There we go. There we go. There's the bridge of the nose. Do the nose real slow. There we go. Let's do the mouth here. There we go. A line. Now you gotta be careful in Procreate, because if you go too slow with your lines, it'll auto smooth. Sometimes that's cool. Sometimes you don't want that. I'm gonna do it again real quick so I don't get that. There we go. Now the teeth, as you can see, it's just an oval, just a line. You don't have to draw the details. Same with the tongue, just a little bump. Kind of fill in behind it. There you go. And let's do an eye here. So go real slow. And I like those. Sometimes, like for when I draw Betty and Veronica, I make it a little thicker. But for him, I like it just to look a little auto. There we go. Color those in. And let's see. Take a look at it. What do you think? It looks just like him, doesn't it? Real close, anyway. So put these lines in, and that's just kind of like the chin, the cheeks, and all that stuff. So let me erase a bit of that. It's kind of don't like what I did with this. May have to change those later. Let me see what I got. Those change all the time for me. Usually I put 2 under each eye. Sometimes I put straight across. Just depends on when I'm feeling. So let's do the outline of the face there. So see how it's smooth? That's Procreate. Helps you out sometimes. Do the same with the ear. There we go. Now let's do the other side. Now we're going to draw the eyebrows. There we go. Just take your time. Fill them in. Let's do the other one real quick. So there we go. There we go. Yeah, I haven't been drawing Archie very long, but it's fun to draw, and I'm trying to practice more and more so I can do the other characters. So if you guys leave comments about that, I'll do whatever character you want if you want me to do any more. I do have a list of characters I will be creating, but I always like hearing from everyone, and see what you got to think about it and see what you want me to do. And here we go, do the back of the head, and then the lines for the his hair there. We could zoom in. There you go. Those are action lines. Those are for like, hey, I'm turning my head. But in comics, you got to tell the viewer he's doing that. Let's do the freckles real quick. Let's go real slow. And you change your the width of your pen as you're doing this, and also your pressure sensitive, so you can kind of like not push down as hard. There we go. Now let's back up. Let's do the hair now. There you go. It changes, doesn't it? I have 3 looks. I have 4. Let's do it. There we go. Now, as you can see, the neck looks way too long. So I'm going to take the red and move it up a little bit. There we go. There you go. Now, so don't disregard the head in the background, and I'm going to just ink over where I have it positioned currently. Change the pen brush. There we go. I'll draw the bow tie there. There we go. I put like just really small details for these because they're not really a lot of detail in Archie Comics. So everything is drawn relatively simply, kind of realistic in a way, but with very little details. So it's cartoony, but not like Bugs Bunny. But here we go. Let me draw this. There we go. It's connected across the bottom. There's a little pin. Let me erase that real quick. Okay, I'm going to connect it all the way down here. There we go. See how it's smoothed out right there? That's Procreate. Thank you. I like Procreate. I don't know if who all uses Procreate, but it's a pretty nice program. Use it quite a bit. I like the fact that it records as you draw as well. So I do a lot of those Instagram. I have really fast illustrations that I post. Let's see, put a little button on his shirt. Gives you a little more detail, but subtle. There we go. I like to zoom in. And that's one thing I like about Procreate, because you can just zoom really close in. I gotta put these random dots everywhere. I don't like using a pattern, like, they're all even. I like the hand-drawn look. So they're not exactly perfect, which I like. So let me just draw these around here. Let's see. So they're not all the same size. Yeah, they're close. I'm not trying to make them obviously different, but some are closer than the others. Let me see here. There we go. Okay. And that's what he looks like. Now, one thing I do that I don't see in the comics too much is shading. I just do it because I like to shade that way. So I'm going to add another layer that will be black with an opacity down about 30%. And then I just kind of put it in areas where I feel that wood should be darker, from the light's not hitting it directly, underneath, like the tie, anything that looks like it should be shaded a little bit, a little reflection off of the tie onto the shirt. It's gonna be a little shadow, so we add that. Let me see here. There you go. So I'd like for you guys to follow along if you could and draw this and post it and tag me. And what I'll do is I will tag those and put them on my Instagram so everybody can see them if you want that. Help you get some exposure as well. There we go. Shade that, shade this. See the inside of the ear, see it's kind of darker. If you look at photographs of people with ears, you can see that. And that's why I do it. So it just helps me as I'm just drawing along. This is how I do my other illustrations as well. Let me see. Just going to take some random color, make a new layer, and I put it underneath the black lines, but above the shadow, so you can still see that. Then I fill in solid tone colors for the shirt. Everything will be solid. That way, if you in the future, if you want to change colors of anything, you just go to that layer and you can fill it with another color. That way, your shading is not interrupted, whether it's highlights or shading. So that's the way I do it. That way, it's perfect for me in the future. If I ever say, you know what, I want him to have a red shirt, then I can just go change the red, and it won't affect the shading whatsoever. Skin tone, I do make a new layer, and I put his skin tone on another layer. See, I accidentally painted over the shadow, which is what I'll do is I'll just move it under that layer, and then you'll see the shadow again. There we go. See, there, it's back. Still a straight line. You can see there on his face. I'll get that in a minute. So I'll color the whole face with the skin color. Everything, eyes, teeth, nose, mouth. I do this because I don't want any broken lines anywhere with the white in the background. And then I'll just go over it with a different color in the future. But that way, if I ever change the background, let's say I make the background yellow or green, I'll know that the color of the eyes will not be yellow or green at that time because I will have paint in them white. Oh, there we go. So his whole head skin color. Then I'll have to go in and make another color for his hair and his teeth and his tongue and his eyes, which will be the same color as his teeth. Let me see here what I'm going to do. I use a script brush because I use that one because it's easy to change the size to really big or really small, and it just brushes on with a really clean, fast look. Here we go. So I'm making the tie green. It's a different shade of green for the neck of the collar of the collar of his sweater. Slightly, it's not a huge difference. It looks almost the same actually. Let's see now. Let's do his hair, I believe. Nope, we're going to do his tongue. There we go. The tongue is like red. You go to your red color, then you push it all the way down to very light, almost white. And then his teeth are pure white. He doesn't. There we go. Now for the eyes, it's even though it's not indicated as a full circle, I paint it white as a full circle. And you can see here that it interrupts with those lines that I put on there. So I'm going to need to move those. But that's okay, they're on a different layer. So I'm going to just color that a little bit. There we go. So like, I don't want that interrupted. So I'll change those here in a minute. Let me color some more here. There we go. I'm turning off and on so I can see where it is. I'm trying to see that dot by his mouth. I'm trying to find that so I can erase it. There we go. There it is. Let me zoom in there. There, it's gone now. It bothers me. I always see stray pixels and lines that I put on it, and I have to go clean that up while I'm doing it. I'll see it when I'm doing something. I go, I gotta go back and get that. Alright, let's see what we got. Let's do the hair. See the brush, script brush, and it's a stock brush that comes with Procreate. There we go. Now these aren't exactly Archie colors. I don't go grab the exact color. It's just that I know it's orange, so I'll just grab an orange color that I make up. Kind of fill it up. You can do a fill in here as long as everything's covered, but not usually. Some of these small illustrations, I don't normally do that all the time. I like to zoom in so to make sure I'm getting the color exactly where I need it at least. So let me go here. Move this around. Kind of zoomed in. I zoom in, I guess you can't see it, but I'll back it up here in a second. So if you're following along, you can just hopefully, you can see all you need to. If not, let me know and I will record another video. My goal is to create these videos to show you how to draw them and help you draw them. So if you want to draw any character, it doesn't have to be Archie, it can be anything, just let me know and I will do my best to create it, how to, and show you how to do it. Let me see. Okay, now I'm gonna have to angle these kind of weird, so it might look kind of funny. Let me see here. One thing I've been doing for practice is I've been drawing vintage covers of Archie Comics, and I'll be posting those soon as well. Those are fun to draw. They're vintage from the 50s, I think. I'll try to figure out who the original artist is so I can give them credit. But it's just, and I'll disclose that. It's just fun to do for me. It's not, I don't work for Archie or anything. I just like drawing the characters. Let me color these little dots in. Say this helps, little details like this. It's just white and green and blue and just the colorful, happy illustrations. They pop off the page. And it's pretty simple to do. Very little details. Let me see here. So, you guys watch Riverdale? I've watched a few episodes. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like the other one, Sabrina. You watch that? It's pretty cool. So it's a lot different than the previous one, but I like it. It's filmed really well. Now here I'm gonna put some highlights. I like putting highlights, little white highlight areas over the top of objects that just kind of helps pop a little bit. It's like across the shoulders. If you look at people in the light, there's a little bit of glow. And so, of course, since it's a cartoon, you just do a hard white line, and that will show as a highlight. Across the ear. And those are areas where you think that the sun would hit more, so it's going to be a little brighter. And that's what the white represents, just like a highlight, even in hair. Being that it's a cartoon, it's not a big deal. Do the top here. There we go. I have to erase that a little bit so I can make it. I like it to fade out a little bit more. So there you go. There, look at that. Put a little bit of nose. And now, let's see, what else can I do? Ah, there's my name. What? There you go. I'm Chuck Carson, the animated pencil. Let's go add some color to the background. Go through a few colors till I find one that looks, that complements the colors of the character. That's probably a yellow. Looks more Archie-ish. There we go. There you go. Now, all right. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for following along, and I hope you liked it. Like I said, draw it, tag me, and I would love to see what you guys come up with. I appreciate it. And again, if there's anything you want me to draw, let me know. Please, if you like this video, subscribe, and see you on the next one.